All right, so today we're going to be looking at some several different wiring diagrams that when we're done with you, when I'm done with you, you will have a pretty good idea, memorize how these particular functions always work. Okay. Now, as we go through them, we're just go through some, a few at a time here, and we'll open them up and I'll do some drawing on them. Some things that I want you to consider as you're doing them. I'm going to mention to you as we go along here. And so once you start seeing them, you can't unsee this sort of thing. And when I tell you that we have a horn circuit or we have a the hell is your problem? Okay, let's try it again. All right, now let's try to print. We'll do it this way. Piece of crap. Print. There you go. Send to OneNote. That wasn't so hard, dummy. Maybe. New. Yeah, I guess. Whatever. Don't care. Here it is. Now, a couple things. Okay. So we start looking through these today here. Again, these are the ones that you're going to be very comfortable with when we're done with you. Piece of cake. First thing, whenever you see the dashed line, that always means that that component there's only part of that component that is shown. Okay, so only part of it is accounted for. All right, there it means there's other things in here. This is what's called the power distribution center, basically a fuse box. Shh, don't tell anybody. That means there's more fuses and more relays laying in this box. It's under the hood. It's near the fender by the battery. Okay, now that's what dashed lines always mean. Now notice that the horns themselves are solid. That's because that's all there is the horn. Everything else, you're only looking at a portion of it, the portion that concerns us right now. Now notice that this fuse is hot all the time. The power comes in through that fuse, 20 amp fuse, and it comes to here and it comes to here. And you're like, wait, it's a relay, Groom. I know. Listen, this side with the coil over here, that's always the control side, baby. Control. Which means then this side over here has to be the load side. Obviously. Okay? Now, you track this through, and because this is, I think this was off a Chevy, I don't remember. Oh, no, it's a Dodge. Some of them were the same in that regard. In that there could be several different, you could have an integrated electronic module, or you could have the Highline package. Okay. Doesn't really matter. The idea is you're going to be sending power down this wire, either one way or the other, doesn't really matter, and then down to here. Okay, now, a couple things also I'd like to point out. This right here, it says dark green / red. That means it's a dark green wire with a red tracer. In other words, it's dark green with a red stripe. This is black with a red stripe. Okay, that will always be true in all of our wiring diagrams. It'll have that. Once in a while, you'll have one that is maybe marked incorrectly. This diagram that you're looking at currently is what we call a quote-unquote redrawn or quote-unquote aftermarket diagram. They've redrawn them to make it easier to diagnose one circuit at a time. The OE diagrams are kind of confusing. Sometimes we say OE, that's original equipment manufacturer, OEM. That'd be like Ford, Chevy, Dodge, whoever. All of their diagrams are a little confusing in that they put a bunch of circuits on the same picture. And you're like, well, I don't need all that crap. I only want the horns. So I'm only going to show the horn ones. Okay, now, here it comes. Here it comes. Now we're on look, we got positive through the control side. That means we're looking for negative. You with me? Now we come up here and we go, wait, what's this clock spring deal? Okay, now, in the good old days, God himself, if he was designing a steering wheel, there'd only be a little booper in the middle. And that the horn, what it did is it connected straight to ground. When you pushed a button, it just connected the wire, which was stayed below the spinning part of the steering wheel. It connected it to ground when you touched the horn. That's it. That's all it did. There was no need to bring wires all the way up into the actual steering wheel. But if you go home tonight and you look at your car and you've got cruise control buttons and you've got radio buttons and paddle shifters and a horn and Lord knows what else up there, there's like 87 wires coming up through that thing, and you're going to be turning those wires and twisting them, and then twisting them, and then twisting them again. So unfortunately I'm not there today to show it to you, but I will show you next time we meet. Inside the steering wheel, you have what's called a clock spring, or sometimes referred to as a spiral cable. And the reason it's a spiral cable is because it already has some twist inside to account for when you turn the wheel, so you don't twist and break the wires off. That's the idea of it. I'll show you how it works. Now it comes through, and you see this when I push the button, honk. If I push on the right side of the steering wheel or the left side of the steering wheel, or wait for it, what if I push on both sides, Grim? What? There it is. Now when I do that, what happens? Well, now I've completed the ground, and then what happens? Whoop. This pulls this guy closed, and power can flow through here. Honk. Ta-da. Honk. Now notice where your ground is. It's the left fender side shield. Notice also that ground is ground 100. Okay? Now, this one down here, this ground doesn't tell me where that ground is. Well, it's in the steering wheel. Duh. Now, what you're going to notice is that when we start talking about these things, several things come to mind. First of all, where the grounds live, or any of these things live. In our diagrams, they're going to be labeled kind of like this. Here's my car. This is the front end, just in case you're wondering. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me. That's the front end of my car. From here forward, we say this is the 0 to 100. Well, that's not true. It's the 100. The 100s when it comes to connectors and grounds. So if you see G140, that's going to be under the hood somewhere, or up near the hood somewhere. The 200s are where the driver sits, and that is, it's in the driver front compartment area. And then from the back seat back is the 3 and 400s on your connectors or your grounds. So when you look this up, you're like, I have a like a G300. Well, a G300 is going to live in the back seat, or perhaps in the trunk, or somewhere back there. And so when you go look for it, you certainly are going to look under the hood for it. Does that make sense? We'll get into that more later on. And then, of course, G means ground. We'll talk more about those as time goes on. A couple of things to note. This is a connector right there. Do you see that? When you see this part of the connector, and then you see this part of the connector, this is the female side. This is the male side. That helps us identify if we get the right connector oftentimes. Sometimes you'll get into something like, which of these 3 or 4 connectors is it? Well, sometimes you can tell based on pin color, how many pins there are. Maybe this one has 12 wires going into it, and this one only has 5. All right. Sometimes it's the exact same amount. You're like, I don't know which is which. Okay, well, then you can look at the connector type. So this one has male versus this one has female connectors, and sometimes that'll help you when you're doing it here. Okay. Now, again, horn circuits, they're all basically the same. It's really hard to screw up a horn circuit, friend. Now, let's come back into here. Let's close this pig. And let's pick... Just kidding. I gotta do the right one. I'll save that one for later when we do a demo. Ooh, here's a sexy one. No, that's part of that one, isn't it? Oh, groom. Yeah, don't do that one. Better save that one for later, too. Let's do that one in a bit. Oh, here's one. Nope, not that one. Yes, I believe this one. So Dodge. Dodge. Let's do Dodge mirrors. So mirrors are power mirrors, moving your mirrors up and down, right and left, forward, backwards, etc. Power windows, power seats, power door locks, horns, all these things. These are all circuits that once you've seen them, you shouldn't be able to unsee. They all are basically the same. Okay, so again, what do we got here? We got power mirrors. Notice it's hot all the time. That means I can always adjust my mirrors. Key on, key off, doesn't matter. Now, what you're going to be doing today, I'm going to model this time. I'm going to do a little better. You're going to have a highlighter, and you're going to be tracing out circuits as we go along. Okay, now this particular one, I noticed today, well, not today for you, but today for me in class, I noticed was messed up. And that happens once in a while. Once in a while, you'll have a situation where the drawing is messed up. Okay? So what I'd like you to notice is this. Everywhere there's a connector like that, that means those two wires connect to one another. Right here, there is not one. That means they don't connect. Okay? Now, there's a bit of an issue. Once in a while, you run into one of these. Here's how I know this is wrong. Here's power coming straight in. You with me? Power coming straight across. Power going straight to ground. What happens? You get all the current. How much of it? All of it. For how long? Well, not very long. You're going to blow a fuse. That cannot be right. So there's actually a dot right here. So this comes in. Once again, notice that this is in the junction block. This is one fuse in the junction block. The rest of the fuses, there's more of them in there. That's the only one that we're worried about right now. Now this whole thing across here is called a bus bar. This whole bus bar is hot. It's hot. Nice. Now let's say that you want to take the left mirror. You would set this switch here on left. You with me? If you wanted right, you'd move it over to the right. And of course that would be open at that point. But I'm going to use the left mirror just for fun. So left mirror is on. Bitchin'. Now I'd like to move the left mirror. Okay, I'd like to move it up. So now this dashed line, do you see that? Whenever you move this like that, the other one has to come with it. Are you with me? That's not true for every switch. Like this switch right here is just a single switch. When you move it, it moves the contact to the left or to the right. But this one here, because they're connected with dashed lines, they both move. So now watch. Here comes the power in. Whee! Across here like so. Whee! Down through here like thus. Whee! Now, Groom, which motor do I go through? Well, I don't know, friend, but notice how we move this one right here? I feel like it's this one. But what if I don't know? Well, now wait, watch. Where's this guy connected to? It's connected back to the ground. It has to be that one. You with me? And my motor goes up. My mirror goes up. Now you're like, Groom, what if I wanted to make my window go down? Oh, it's a good question, bro. If I want to make my mirror go down, I go bloop, bloop. You with me? Now the power comes in and goes, wee. Wait, it's the same circuit, Groom. That's right. But we went through it backwards. Dude, that's right. Wait, oops, sorry. Hang on. That's right. So what happens when we go through it backwards? Well, when we go through it backwards, guess what? The motor turns the other way. But I thought you said it didn't matter, Groom, whether you went one way or the other way. Oh, I said that in a light bulb, it didn't matter. Remember that? In a light bulb, all I do is run current through, and it gets hot, and it starts to glow. Turn the light on. In this case, when I run through a motor, it changes the direction of the magnetic field. It changes the spin. Okay. Now, yesterday, someone in the other class by the way, this is a motor. I failed to mention that these are both motors. So there's two motors in each mirror outside the car. Notice this is your entire mirror. Do you see that? How do I know? Because it's not dashed. Nice. This switch, which is on the driver's door, is also solid, meaning that is the entire switch. That's all there is, the whole kit and caboodle. Groom, what is this doodad here? That is a heating element. Anytime you see this shape, it is a heating element. We will see them in several places in our vehicles. And so once you see the picture, you can't unsee it. Okay, it's like when some kid tells me what they did, and you're kind of like, ugh, can we go back 5 minutes before I knew that? Ugh, yuck. Yeah, anyway, so whatever. So it's one of those deals. Huzzah. Nice. It's a heating element. We'll get to see that quite a bit more later on. For instance, our oxygen sensors in our cars all use heater circuits like that in them. Okay, so we'll get comfy with that. It'll be a good time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. Here we go. Oh, I don't want to download it, you moron. There we go. Yeah, whatever. Alright. Notice that this baby is hot in run only. Meaning, if your key is not turned to the run position where the engine would be running if you had started the vehicle, your windows will not work. Okay. Typically, we're going to have hot in run and hot in run, and we'll have hot all the time. Once in a while, you'll see something that's hot in start or run. Start is when you're cranking the vehicle. Obviously, things like that would have to be the coils that run the spark plugs will have to be hot in crank, otherwise the engine won't start. They'll also be the fuel injection will have to be hot in crank, otherwise you will not start the vehicle, obviously. So there will be some things like that. Inside the vehicle, I don't need to be rolling the windows down when I'm cranking the engine over. That's just ridiculous. In fact, you go home tonight, you start turn the key on, start rolling the window down, and then you start cranking the engine over. You notice the window quits moving. That's because it's not hot while you're cranking. It's only hot in run. One thing I do want to mention is this. On some cars, you have the accessory position. There's two S's in there, but I don't really care anymore. Accessory. It'll just say ACC. There you go. This is when you roll the key backwards. Okay. Now, in the olden days, like that Dodge truck that's outside, that yellow one there, which, praise the Lord, is going home soon. Yes. Anyways, that stupid thing, it had one coil, like every car back then did. And if you turn the key to the run position, that coil would be hot. It'd be sending power to it. It'd be heating that coil up, and it would get super hot, and you could actually ruin the coils. And so what happened would be a kid back in the 70s or thereabouts would turn on the radio. Now, not a lot in the 60s because we didn't have a lot of that. Not all of us had not all 60s vehicles had car radios, but in the 70s it was pretty ubiquitous. You could turn that AM radio, listen to, in the late 70s, you listen to Mariner's Play starting in like 77, man. I remember that all the time, yeah. Hey, Alvin Davis with the catch and the pop out and so forth. Anyways, you sit there listening to tunes while you listen to some nice tunes there on the old AM station while your mom's in the grocery store. She comes out and the car won't start. It's because you could have run the battery down, but you could actually ruin the coil. And so they made this position where you'd roll the key backwards and they would turn the radio on, and that was about it. Sometimes the wipers, but usually just things like just the radio. And it didn't wear out things like the coil. And so that was what it was there for. So you'll see that once in a while, accessory position. Not as big a deal anymore because Marcy, when you turn the key on to go to start the car, Marcy will put power to the coils and the fuel injectors and stuff for about 10, 15, 20 seconds. If it depends on the car, depends on the age of the car, depends on, whoever in the manufacturer, etc. But if she doesn't see the engine start, she'll power them down so it doesn't ruin the coils. Okay? And so she's smart enough to figure that out. In the old days, there wasn't a computer there to help you out. You had to be, not a moron. Okay? Now, here's the game. I turned the car on. Now, this is a circuit breaker. That right there, that shape is classic circuit breaker. Remember, we talked about this last week in one of the classes, I think in both the classes. But again, the idea is this. We use circuit breakers on windows and seats a lot. Because, for instance, in a seat, your idiot husband gets home from bowling league, leaves a dadgum bowling ball behind the seat. He's a little fella. You married a short guy. Cool, good for you. And he gets in the car and he goes to put the seat back. Well, it won't go back because the dadgum bowling, or you to get in the car, you got to put it back because you actually have long legs. And the car won't go back, and the seat won't go back, and you get kind of pissed off, and then it quits working altogether, and you're like, wow, what happened? When it hit that bowling ball, okay, the motor started drawing a lot more current because there's a lot of resistance there, and to the point where it blew the circuit breaker. Now, the reason we use circuit breakers as opposed to fuses, you go home tonight, you go to unpack the groceries, and you're like, Judas Priest, that idiot left his bowling ball behind the seat. That's why it wouldn't move. Now you yell at him. He goes out there and he gets the bowling ball out. Whatever. he gets in the car and moves the seat because he's going to, I don't know, he's got Pinochle Club tonight or something. I don't know. He's a real winner, apparently. He's 1950 again. He gets in the car and the seat moves just fine. He goes, Harriet, I don't know what your problem is, darling. The seat moves just fine. Well, because over time, that circuit breaker has reset itself. And so things like seats, which get blocked easily, windows. Oh, I rolled the window up with my brother's fingers. Awesome. Same thing. Too much resistance. Blow the circuit breaker, and then that thing resets itself. It would suck to have to like own a garage, like a Ford dealership. And you have to charge people like $35, $40 to change a fuse because some idiot left his bowling ball behind the seat, or somebody else rolled their brother's fingers up in the window. So circuit breakers kind of a big deal. You'll see them a lot in those particular instances. Now note, power comes in. Whee! It goes all the way down to here. Whee! It's looking for a ground. Whee! What in the Sam Hill's that thing? Just a minute, I'll tell you. Whee! Done. Cool. Oh, also, whee! Done. Notice also the left kick panel, G200. Left kick panel is if you're sitting in the driver's seat by your left foot, the side of the car right there by your left foot. That's the left kick panel. G200. As I said, 200 is inside where you, the driver, are in the driver's area, the front, all the way across to the passenger seat. That's the 200 region. Okay? What in the devil are these, Groom? I thought this was a resistor. It is a resistor. But what is this deal? Turns out that's an LED. When you get in this car and turn the key on, there's going to be little lights on both the passenger door and the driver's door switch. Okay? Now, they backlit so you can see them from underneath. That's my guess. I don't know. I haven't seen this car, so I couldn't really tell you. But that's my guess, probably. Okay. Now, let's say that you are the driver and you would like to roll your window down. Okay, now watch. Which one would you like to roll? I'd like to roll my window down. So, so I do this. Bloop. Yes, and bloop. Yes, I do. Now notice, these guys are tied together, so they move in unison. Power comes in. Whee! Back up to here. And across. And down. You with me? Huzzah! And my window goes down. What if I wanted it to go up? I don't know, let's find out, homie. Okay, the LED is still on though. Whee! Nice. Now let's put it to go up. Oh, rats. I want it to go up. Bloop, bloop. Power goes this way. Hey, that's the other way, Groom. Oh, does that mean it moves the other way? Once again, yes, that's the way it moves. But what if I, as the driver, want to roll the passenger window down? Then I will move this lever, bloop, bloop, and the power will flow. And then there, yes? Nice. But what if you, the passenger, want to roll your own blame window down? That's convenient because look what I got down here, friends. I've got power down here already. Bloop, bloop. Check it out. Power flows through. Whee! Back to here. Back up. Around the horn. And there it is. Nice. Every single stinking window motor setup will look something like this. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Power door locks, same thing. Okay? Let's see, what other one did I want to show you? I'm going to do 3 or 4 examples here. Yeah, I did that one already. Okay, this one here. Now this one here is a slightly different take on a very common circuit, one that you need to know. So it's a Chevy, I think it's this one here. Yep. Now this one's a little bit different than some of them, but it's not hard. They once you see them, you're like, oh, it's basically the same. So don't get all weird and panicky. Okay, so here we go. Again, notice over here, this is the HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning control module. Notice that is the entire module. Check it out. Again, how do I know? It's the entire thing is outlined in solid, versus this is just one fuse out of that fuse box, and ditto over here. Notice that this guy here, whatever this blower resistor is, that's one piece. This relay is one piece. The motor is all there is. And these guys down here are something else entirely different, which I don't want to talk about right now. Okay? Look at this. G201. 201 means where? It's in the front of the compartment where you and I sit, I'm in the driver's seat, you're in the passenger seat, whatever. And then this is the right side of the dash. So on the passenger side of the dash, so we're going to find this graph. But 200 tells me that's where to go looking for it. Notice that this S right here is a splice, and it's 298. Where's that going to live? It's going to live in the dash area. This is also a splice, 268, again, in the dash area. G202 in the dash area, and it even tells you left side of dash. Okay? So I promise you, all these things will be very specific as you start to see them again. Okay? Now, here we go on this fella. Here we come. Hot all the time. Hot in the run position. Okay? So let's turn the key on. So we're on. So let's look at this. We're going to have power coming down through fuses. Bloop. And I really want to focus right now on this to here and this, this to here. So now what you've done, this guy here has powered up this HVAC module. Okay, it's a little computer in there. You fired her up by sending power on this line right here. Okay. I think I'm going to get rid of that because it's going to get confusing in a second. But there it is. Now, this is your switch right here. On, off, medium, high, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Now, so there's power flowing through this guy all the way down here, though. All the way to here. And it comes around and just stops. Right there. You with me? Just stops. Okay. Now, let's turn this baby on to low. Bloop. That means the power comes in and flows from low around the corner like thus, out on this yellow wire, all the way down and around. Wait, it went through 3 resistors, Grim. Keep with me now. Finally get to the motor, and then up and around to ground. Yay! So the motor runs. But notice that I went through 3 resistors. Well, that's going to make it run slow, Groom. Yep, you're right. Now I'm going to redraw part of this. I'm going to leave this part here. We're going to reuse this part again and again and again for a few minutes. So I'm just going to leave that part. And this next part, we're going to leave this part as well because this part will not change again. But now let's put ourselves on medium. So if you're up here and you're on medium 1, that puts us over there. Bloop. Come on. We're coming out on the tan. We're coming down the tan. And we're going to go through 2 resistors this time. Wait. Going through 2 resistors instead of 3, it's going to be what? More current. So more current is going to turn a little bit faster. That's cool. What if I get on medium 2? Well, if I get on medium 2, bloop, now I only go through 1 resistor. Nice. So it's going to go faster yet. Now the last one, this particular pickup is a little different than some. So I'm going to walk this through you. But again, and I'll draw it up like it's more commonly done. Okay. Okay, now hold the phone. Now watch what happens. When I put it in high, whoop, I send power down here like this to the control side of this relay, which then comes over here and goes to ground, which does what to my relay? It flips the switch. You with me? So now look what happens. This line here is always hot. So this comes in, whee, goes around and runs my motor. But Groom, there's no resistors in the way. That's right. That means there's going to be more current, Groom. That's right. Wait, that means it's going to run faster. Now you're talking, kid. Nice job. So classic example. Someone comes in, says my fan only works on high. The problem is the resistor is bad. All the lower speeds require that resistor to work. And it's typically this guy right here that burns out because all three settings go through that last resistor. And it's typically the last guy that burns up, and he's the one that kills all of them. Okay? But it's a dead, and I mean dead giveaway. Now, a lot of times this particular circuit is done just a little different. In other words, they don't have that guy. They don't have him. Like this is, that's rare. What normally happens is this. When the power, and then what'll end up happening is this, is that when it comes out on high, the high wire comes down like this, and it comes down and it just tacks in right there. Okay? So it tacks in right there and then just flops down. And then this guy just comes all the way to the motor. You with me? And so if you were on low, instead or something, it would come in here and go through all three and then go to the motor. That's a more common way to draw it up. This business with the relay is a little screwy, but it's the same basic premise. It's just a little different way of doing it. A little pizzazz, a little whoosh, whoosh. Oh, I don't know, whatever. It's a little weird there. Okay? Nice. Now, let's don't do that one. No, that's boring. Let's don't do that one. So one. Oh, I did that one already. Ha! I knew that looked familiar. Ha! Oh, I did. Okay, I did that one too. Okay. Okay, here we go. So on. Right. Okay, so you're going to be passing out a sheet of paper. At this time, our lovely assistant's going to pass out the sheets of paper. And you also need to have on your person a highlighter. Now, there's highlighters on the front table. Help yourself. Okay? So the first sheet is this Chrysler Town and Country. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take 5 minutes. So let's pause at this juncture. Let's give the kids about 5 minutes. And what I would like you to do, well, don't pause it until I say what to do. I would like the driver to recline his chair. Okay? I'd like the driver to recline or lay back his chair. Okay? Notice that these are all single switches. Do you see that? How do I know? Because there's no dashed line between them. Okay? Okay, so at this point, let's pause for 5 minutes, and then we'll work through it together. Okay? So you sit there and work for 5 minutes. So she'll play the video. We'll update it. All right, let's go. Are you shut off yet? Go ahead and shut it off. Are you Gucci? All right, now I'm going to start talking now. So we're going to come in. Okay, we're going to go through that circuit breaker. We're hot all the way down here and across, which goes to the passenger seat. You see that? So passenger seat. So, okay, and it's also true up here in the top guy. Okay, so if the driver wants to recline, lay it back, it's going to go like so. So power's going to come in, it's going to flow through like that. Okay? All right. Now, again, this is 5-10 minutes has passed now at this point. Everyone's done that. We've run through it, the example. Now, page 2 on your sheet there. Page 2, flip it over. It's the Kia Sorento window circuit. Kia windows, there we go. Now again, this is just some random crap I printed off Pro Demand, just so you get comfortable with them. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so at this juncture, we are going to, okay, what I would like you to do is I would like you to roll the right rear window up. All right, so go ahead and pause the video at this time, and I'd like you to trace out what would happen if, oh, wait, before you do one thing, this relay here, notice it's open. Notice that there's power here and there's power here. This is the control side. You're looking for ground. What? Oh, dear. Where's the ground? This little computer right here, whatever it is what grounds this. Okay, but suffice to say, when I turn the key on, this closes. Okay, you're Gucci. We're good to go now. Okay, so I'd like you to do is we'd like you to roll the right rear window up. I'll go ahead and pause it now for about 5 minutes while you work on that. Are we paused? Cool. All right, so here's how this is going to go down. We're going to come through here. We're going to come across. Okay, this little wire goes over to the left rear. Are you with me? I don't care about that one. This one here goes to the right rear. Nice. And here we are. And I want to roll my window. What did I say? I want to roll it down. Now you're like, I don't know which one down is, Groom. Let me demonstrate for you. Okay. If you're doing it up here, down would be here and to go down this wire, right? Like that. So this is also down. Okay. So it's down. Power flows through. All the way back up and around and across. Oh no, what's this? W lock. Oh, that's the window lock, dog. The window lock is switch is open. What does that mean? Oh, there's no ground. Oh no, we better close that switch. And it flows all the way over and all the way down. Okay, that's how that would be done. Notice that there are light bulbs. Those are light bulbs in each of these switches. Up here, there's a bank of LEDs in this one. Okay. What if Groom wanted to roll your window? Let's, I'm driving and I want to roll your window down. Well, if I'm driving, I want to roll your window down, then I am going to be powered up here, like so. And I'm going to go bloop, and it's going to go down through your motor, back up, and then back to ground again. Same exact thing. Okay. Killer, dog. Killer. All right. And then, I don't know. What's page 3? Page 3 is the Eagle Talon blower motor. Beautiful. So the Eagle Talon blower motor. Eagle blower right here. Here we go. Huzzah. All right, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to draw the path. I would like you to draw the path. Correct. I'd like you to draw the path for if you were on medium low. Medium low. Okay? So again, let me point out a couple of things. This junction block is not everything, obviously. Notice that this is hot in the run position. So let me point a couple of things out before you get carried away. This is hot in the run position. That means when I turn this puppy on, when I turn the key on, I provide power to here, which is good because I already have ground. So boom, that closes. That's ready to go to work, yes? Because that opens it up. Question. My switch is here. My ground is here. My load is here. Is this ground side or is this high side switched? Okay, that's my question to you. All right, so let's get busy on this, and let's take 5 minutes. I'll shut up now. Okay, so here it is. It's gonna come through. Whee! It's gonna come through the motor like this. What? Now, it's obviously going to go through medium high. Now, it's pretty straightforward, or medium low rather. So I need to go through 2 resistors. So I'm gonna come through here. 1, 2 resistors. Come back out like so. Medium low. Like that. Okay, this is ground side switched. Now this is almost identical to the one I drew earlier, the one that had the relay initially, but then when I took the relay out, I was almost the same, except I was switching on the high side as opposed to switching on the ground side. Doesn't make any difference really. Okay, it's a different way of doing it. Yeah. All right, and then lastly but not leastly, what do we got here? Oh, the Honda Civic power mirrors. Sure. Honda Civic power mirrors. So Honda Civic power mirrors. Civic windows. What? Oh, I must have labeled it windows. Oh, it's mirrors. Yeah, here we go. Couple things on this one. Again, this selector switch, these guys move in, this part here moves in unison, either both to the left or both to the right. Okay, that's not true for these upper ones. Are you with me? I can move that one by itself. I can move this one by itself. Okay, they are different from one another. Now, so what do we got? It's a power mirror. Okay, so then we're gonna move it to the left or to the right. Now this, when I move it to the left, this selects which mirror. Okay, and then these guys up here do different things with it. All right, so this one's kind of piss poorly worded. So I guess we'll see if we can figure one. Actually, we'll do this one together. So power comes in hot in the on position, or that is the run position. That's a little different. Most can be done all anytime, anywhere, whenever I want to. I can move the mirrors typically. So let's say I want to move the left mirror. So, and I want to move it whatever this direction is. So I move it to there. I send power through. Whee! Now watch, this is important. Whee! Up we go, and we're back to here, back up to there, back across the ground, and we're Gucci. Okay, and we spun our mirror over. Okay, but then the question then is, well, that I don't know, what did that do? Did that move it up? That apparently moved it left and right, right? So now, what if I had switched it the other way? What if I had done this one this way instead? And the power would come in, and again, this is on left. It would have come in, it would have gone around, come back up, and then it would have come up and would have gone to ground. You with me? So that would have moved it the other direction. Now, the only thing I'm a little concerned about on this next one is, let's see what happens here. Let's move this guy over to there and see what's up. So again, if these are in left, left, so then we're coming across, we're coming down. Whee! Now, at this juncture, it comes all the way to here. Okay, with me? Down, through, back up, and then back over to here, and then back to ground. Or it could have come all, yeah, that's it, that's all like that. Nice. Now, how do I know it went through that guy and not the other one? Because that's the only way it can go in that regard. Now, somehow this one's not drawn great. I don't like the way this one's drawn. But it's possible, perhaps, for this one to be here. Then what would happen? Then the power would come in like so. It would come down. I guess it would flow back out and around that way, I guess. So anyway, sometimes some of these are a little trickier than others. This one's a little weird. It's not bad, it's just a little weird. Sometimes they're just kind of weirdly drawn. Okay, now, the kind of circuits we're going to know, you're going to know your blower circuits. Before we're done, you're going to know your wiper circuits. You're going to know lighting. You're going to know mirrors, seats, and windows, and door locks. Those circuits are going to be just plain as the nose on your face, okay? They're going to change a little bit here and there, slight tweaks. Oh my gosh, her hair is a little slightly different color of blonde than mine, Groom. It's hair, friend. Just shut up about it. Okay, it's friend. It doesn't matter. Okay. Oh my God, it looks natural and so forth and so on. It's the same. It doesn't matter. Okay. That's where we're headed. Now, next time we meet, we're gonna be doing some more of these guys, and we'll be having an assignment where I give you a sheet of paper, and you're on your own to figure it out. Now, correct. So this is probably not taking the entire period. Life goes on. I don't know what to tell you other than sorry. And yeah. Yeah. So have a nice day. Sit and chillax. Be nice people. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.